We'll make a few more improvements to the visualization we created. And in particular, we'll change the formatting on the slicer. And if necessary, resize the slicer and the line chart. We're going to drop the titles on the x-axis and the y-axis because after all, they're already in the title on the line chart. And finally, we'll fix the y-axis and we'll show why that is necessary later on. So to change the formatting on the slicer, I'm just going to click on the slicer and then select the paintbrush. And you see that you have a number of options here, including slicer settings, slicer header, and slicer values. So I'm going to look at slicer header first. And you see the county is the text. Well, that seems okay, but I want to make this a little bigger. So I'm going to increase this to maybe 16 points, okay? And you see it changes. Then what I'm going to do as well, I'm going to go to values, and again change that, make that a little bigger so that it becomes 14. Okay, let's come out of this. It still fits, so there is no need to resize anything. But you know, if you make, for example, this too big, and let's show what that would mean. So if we make this 18 for it, then we would have to resize, right? But 14 was fine. Okay. The next thing to do is to change the y-axis and the x-axis on the line chart. So I'm going to click on the line chart and again go to the visualization pane, and then you see x-axis here. We'll open that up, and then we're going to set the title to off. And you see how that the title is no longer there, and it doesn't have to be there because we have date already in the title for the entire chart. We're going to do the same for the y-axis. Again, set the title to off. And now, again, that's not necessary because we have number of cases in Tampa Bay, or in whatever the number of cases in Tampa Bay, or whatever the value of the slicer is. Now, there's one more issue. And that is that by default, Power BI automatically adjusts the y-axis to the number being plotted. So if we look at Tampa Bay, the maximum is around 2600, whatever it is. But if we look at Hillsborough, it drops. If we look to Pinellas, it drops. If we look to Pasco, it drops even further. And you could argue that that is somewhat misleading because it gives misleading information about the absolute numbers. So what I'm going to do in order to fix that is, again, I'm going to go in the line chart, the formatting option, and now open the y-axis again. And now what I can do is I can set the maximum myself to say 2600. And now what you see, what happens is that when I go to Pasco or Pinellas, or erase the clear the selections in the slicer, you will see that the y-axis no longer automatically adjusts. And I would argue that this is a bit less misleading than what we had before.